What's going on, guys? It's Zed for me. It has been exactly 2 years since I put the cheap sound deadening into this car, and today I'm going to give you an update. Just about 2 years ago, I went to Home Depot and got myself really cheap quote-unquote sound deadening for the car, and I installed it on the doors. I also installed it on the trunk, and there has been a lot of talk about whether this stuff holds up, whether it makes the car smell, whether or not it actually works. Well, I'm happy to announce that after 2 years, the condition of the sound deadening in this car is still rocking, it's still going well. And I wanted to show you guys, to those of you who are actually thinking about doing this, but we're kind of on the fence, worried about the longevity of how well this stuff would hold up over time, I wanted to show you guys exactly what it looks like 2 years later, so you guys can have your fears laid to rest. If this is your first time stopping in on this channel, take a look at the video that I posted 2 years ago and see how I actually installed the sound deadening. So there are a couple places that I actually installed this sound deadening. One was in the door panels right here, and the other one was in the trunk. So let's take a look at the trunk first. As you can see, I have a couple of sound deadening material here, 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 and here. And these were basically the spaces where the trunk wasn't double paneled. So I had some extra sound deadening material left over, so I decided to just add it here. This is 2 years since I've added it, and as you can tell, it has not sunk in one bit. People say, you know, in the really hot weather, this will start to melt and it'll start to slide down, whatever. This panel right here, as you can imagine, when the trunk is closed, it would actually peel off completely. It wouldn't even slide because this is not the normal position that the trunk is in. But let me see if I could start peeling this a little bit back so you could see what the material actually looks like. So I'm trying to peel this back, and as you can see, it's still stuck on there really well. There's not any part of it that's actually, you know, coming off or whatever. So as you can see, all of these panels, all of the sound deadening here is still rocking strong. Now, I'm not going to take off the door panels in order to show you the sound deadening material behind these panels, but I suspect that behind here it looks exactly the same as it does here on the trunk. It's still doing exactly what I intended it for it to do, which was not exactly to get rid of the road noise, but to just basically help with the quality of the sound of opening the door as well as closing the door. Because honestly, before, if you watch the video, you could hear that it sounded really tinny, and now the door sounds more solid, like it really should have sounded from the factory. Another concern that a lot of people had was whether or not this will smell like asphalt, where the real like butyl material used for sound deadening won't leave any smell. This could potentially start melting and leave off a really bad smell. So what I'm gonna do is try and smell exactly what people are talking about. Literally, with my nose up against the material here, I actually don't really know what it's supposed to smell like or what people are implying, but for those of you guys who are actually thinking about doing this, I'm giving you a completely honest opinion, because this was a cheap mod for me. It was less than $20, and I think it really made a difference to how the doors sound. And also, when I close my trunk now, it sounds pretty good too. It sounds nice and solid. To those of you guys who are actually thinking about doing this, I highly recommend it. If you live in a really, really hot climate where your car is always sitting out in the sun, maybe you should think twice about doing it. But for me, I'm in New York. You know, our summers do get pretty hot. This car does sit outside a lot. Once in a while, it'll be in my garage, but most of the time it's sitting out in the sun. New York summers definitely don't get as hot as they do, for example, in Texas or down in San Diego or Los Angeles, but you know, it's not exactly, I would say, a cold environment during the summertime. So 2 years later, the material is still holding up. So for those of you guys who are on the fence about it, I would suggest you guys go ahead and do it. Just know what you're getting into. It is, you know, a good value for, I think, what you get versus what you pay. As in comparison to the real sound deadening material. Certainly this isn't for people who are really looking to isolate road noise from their car, but just really help with the sound of certain panels so that it doesn't sound so, what's the word, tinny and basically hollow. So that's basically it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Zed for me. If you guys like this video, please be sure to leave it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next time.